Here we'll be dealing with mixed area units. We have a welcome mat that's 24 inches by 12 inches. We're asked to find its area in square inches and then convert it to square meters. The first thing we'll have to do is find a formula that could give us the area. We'll have to remember that the area of a rectangle shape is the length times the width. We'll start by writing that A, standing for area, equals L, standing for length, multiplied by W, standing for width. This is our formula for a rectangle. We can see our length is 24 inches and our width is 12 inches. So in place of the L, we'll say 24 inches, and in place of W, we'll say 12 inches. We'll say that's equal to our area, and then we'll go to the calculator and multiply. We enter 24, multiply 12, and press enter. This gives us 288. The units for this area will be in inches, but since these are square units, since we've taken inches times another inches, we'll say inches to the second power or inches squared. We can also abbreviate this as SQIN, standing for square inches. Now that we know that our area is 288 square inches, we can try to convert this into square meters. We'll start by writing that our start point will be inches squared. We want to get over to square meters somehow. Inches is a US unit, and square meters is a metric unit. At some point along the line, we're going to have to change out of US units and into metric units, but we do not have a direct conversion from square inches to square meters. However, written below the question, I have that 1 square foot could give us 0.0929 square meters. This means that in order to get to square meters, I could go through square feet. Using square feet, I could get square meters, and this will be one of our steps for this problem. Now the question is, how could I get from square inches to square feet? Going from square inches to square feet could be my first step, while going from square feet to square meters could be my second step. The question is, how do we get there? We might recall that 1 foot is the same as 12 inches. Since we're dealing with square units, we can just square everything. This means all the numbers will be raised to second power, and all the units will also be raised to the second power. We'll say that 1 squared foot squared is equal to 12 squared inches squared. Now 1 squared is going to be still 1 because 1 raised to any power is still 1. We'll keep the feet squared, and then for 12 squared, we could go to the calculator. If we take 12 and then press the square button on our calculator, this will give us an exponent of 2, and when we press enter, we get 144. We'll say that on the right side of this equal sign, we have 144 square inches. Again, the inches must be second power. We'll use this conversion to get from square inches to square feet, and this will be our step 1. Once we get to square feet, we can go to square meters using the conversion I've underlined in yellow. I will label that as the information for step 2. Now let's bring in my square inches I got from step 1. I'll start by writing 288 square inches, multiply that by a fraction, and multiply by another fraction for step 2. In step 1, I'm going to send my square inches to the bottom, and my goal for step 1 is what's on the right side of that green arrow, feet squared. Then I will send feet squared to the bottom of the next fraction, and keep in mind that my goal for this problem is to get meters squared. Now I'll place my unit conversions. For my step 1 conversion, I have that 1 foot squared is equal to 144 inches squared. Therefore, I place the 1 next to feet squared and 144 next to inches squared. For my second fraction, I'll need my conversion that I underlined in yellow and labeled as step 2. I have 1 square foot is equal to 0.0929 square meters. I place a 1 next to square feet and the decimal 0.0929 next to my square meters. Now let's review what we're going to enter in the calculator. We'll start with 288 square inches. Then I'm going to multiply that by 1, but multiplying by 1 won't change my answer, so I'm going to skip that. After that, I divide by 144. And then I'll multiply 0.0929. Dividing by 1 at the end will not change my answer, and so this is my operation, 288 divided by 144 times 0.0929. Let's go to the calculator now. I enter my 288, divide by 144, multiply by 0.0929. When I press enter, I get 0.1858. Let's check the units also. The inches squared I started with will cancel out with the bottom of the first fraction, and the feet squared I now have will cancel out with the bottom of the second fraction, leaving me square meters, which is what I was after in the question. This means that we've got the right answer, and our final answer will be 0.1858 square meters.